Well, hello folks, Daugherty here. Little bonus video. I've been going through and reading the reviews of my book, and so many of them mention a common theme that I thought it was important and proper that I go ahead and address that in an official public way, and that's what we're doing with this video. It's could be called a major announcement, I guess. One of the common themes that I am reading over and over and over, that's why it's common, in my reviews is, Jeff, you make the scenes seem so vivid. You make the scenes seem so alive, whether it's Jesus, the apostles, Paul, whether it's Alexander the Great or Nero or the great high priest. It's almost like the reviews say. It's almost like you were there, Jeff. The details so rich. It seems so accurate. It seems so real. It seems so alive. It's almost like you were there. I keep hearing that and reading that. And there's a reason why it seems like I was there. And the reason is because I was there. Let me explain. When I gave my son, Joshua Allen Daugherty, the first draft of the book to read, he said, Dad, good book, but there's no detail. It's like these people are existing in white rooms, and there's no scenery, there's no detail, there's nothing talking about what's going on. And I realized, of course, that he was right, so I began to close my eyes, go into a bit of an altered state of consciousness, I guess, and I would find myself like a fly on the wall. And when you're looking at scenes in the Old Testament times, that wasn't too uncommon for there to be flies on the wall, or at least that's our stereotype. But at any rate, I would find myself as a fly on the wall, a fly on the head of the horse of Alexander the Great, or a fly in the temple when Judua was there about ready to meet Alexander, or a fly on the wall when Paul was doing his deeds, a fly on the wall when Jesus and the apostles were talking. You get the idea. I was like a fly on the wall, able to see and record in exacting detail every single bit of what was going on. So I guess you call that time travel. I was not going there physically, but I was going there and being able to see and relive and understand and report on scenes with great vividness and great accuracy. And of course, that is another reason why I feel like the book Apostle Paul Antichrist is so accurate, because I was there. And that technique was developed at the behest of my son. And I came back and mentioned to him, I said, Josh, this is what's happening. Because he said, sounds like you're time traveling. And I thought, wow, that's kind of weird. And of course, anybody can claim that they time traveled, they went back in the past and saw something and wrote about it. It's a very easy claim to make. So what I did was decided to test it out. There's got to be an empirical way to test and see if I'm really able to travel in time and see things as I think I am. So what I did was, I'm not a gambler. And I'm not a huge football fan. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and if they're on and it's not too much trouble, I'll watch. But I'm not a huge football fan, and I'm not a gambler. But what I decided was, if I can go backward in time and see scenes vividly, then I should be able to go forward in time as well and also see scenes vividly. So this last NFL season, it was about week 3 that I started, just because that was the way the time worked out. Week 3 of the NFL season, I decided, you know what? I'm going to use the same technique I used to go back in time and see scenes, to go forward in time and see scenes. So what I decided to do was pop forward in time and see TV screens displaying the scores of the games of the National Football League games that were being played. If it was, if the game was on Sunday, I would just go into Monday and see a television with the score on it. I figured, you know what, if I can go backward, I should be able to go forward. And if I can go forward with any degree of accuracy, then this would be some proof to me. It'd be some empirical proof. My son received the list of my picks. There was a couple other people that I trusted. You don't want to give everybody information that says you think you're time traveling, they'll lock you up in a padded room. But at any rate, there were 3 objective verifiers of this test, and from week 3 all the way up to and including the Super Bowl, I predicted every single game, the winner of every single game versus the point spread. If you don't know what the point spread is, well, you'll need to Google that and figure out what it is. But over the whole course of the NFL season, from week 3 all the way through the Super Bowl, I was able to predict the winners with 76% accuracy versus the point spread. 76% accuracy versus the point spread. Now, like I said, I'm not a gambler. I didn't really know what that meant, but I contacted one of my friends who is a gambler, and of course I don't think all his bets are exactly legal, so I won't mention his name. Sorry, Daryl. But he told me that at 76%, that would make me the greatest handicapper of all time and a multi-millionaire. Too bad I'm not a gambler. And it also needs to be said that I only placed about, it was only about just shy of 300 predictions or picks, and to be a certified handicapper with any credibility, Daryl tells me you need to have about 1,000. So I fell short of the measuring standard as a handicapper, but I think in making almost 300 picks with 76% accuracy against the point spread in the National Football League, arguably a accuracy rate that's never been duplicated, that's some empirical evidence for me to say, yes, this ability that I have is accurate, it is real, and that gives me even more confidence when I go back and take a look at scenes and report them to you in the book, like Apostle Paul Antichrist, and the upcoming book, The Other Jesus, and the upcoming book, Not of This World. I've also got another book brewing called Diamonds Amongst Dung, and also the 60s, Sex, Drugs, and Mind Control. Maybe another one called All My Trials, about the death of American democracy. But anyway, it does give me confidence that what I was experiencing and do experience when I write is accurate. And an interesting point, people say, well, only 76% accuracy. If you're time traveling, shouldn't it be 100% accuracy? It's a question I asked myself, but here's what I've realized. If I made my picks early in the week, let's say the game was on Sunday and I'm picking it on Monday, Tuesday of the week prior, my accuracy would drop a little bit. The closer I was able to wait until the start of the game to make my pick, the more accurate the pick was. And keep in mind, I'm not checking injuries, I'm not checking statistics, I'm not checking any data. I'm just going forward in time and making the picks. I didn't do any study whatsoever. But the fact that the picks tended to be a little more accurate the closer I got to the actual event before projecting into the future leads me to believe that the future is just very subjective. It's not set. The future can take many different paths. So that's why, even though if it was Saturday and I predict a Sunday game, it's still only 75-80% accurate, because there's just an element of change and flux within the future that cannot be accounted for, which makes me wonder if we could ever physically travel to the future, because what about that other 20%? Who knows where you might wind up? Wow. So I wanted to address that to the people that have asked me about that in the reviews. How are they so accurate? And I wanted to let you know about that and hopefully stimulate some conversation and some questions. If you have questions, you can contact me through apostlepaulantichrist.com, through imnck.com, on Twitter at NCKabbalah, on Facebook, Jeff A. Daugherty, and or the Jeffrey Daugherty Show. So with a little bit of weirdness, a little bit of interestingness, a little bit of something to make you go, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, wishing you peace and light.